Unveiling the 7 miraculous wives of the giants, divine truths revealed in the Bible. In the 3rd year of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, a whisper traveled through the land of Bashan, a region cradled by trees and mountains, where the ancient giants, the Rephaim, once roamed. The air was thick with anticipation, for the villagers spoke of unions forged between the sons of God and the daughters of man, a sacred mingling woven into the very fabric of history. Underneath the vast evening sky, feasts unfolded, laughter echoed, and tales of valor glimmered in the firelight. Within the heart of this village lived Yilmiah, known far and wide for her radiant beauty and profound strength. As a healer, she attended to the needs of her people, binding their wounds with the herbs, a sacred gift bestowed by the divine. Each day she sought the Spirit of the Lord, her heart yearning for understanding. An awakening stirred within her spirit, hinting at a destiny beyond the realm of the ordinary. A murmur rippled through the crowd as rumors of divine unions reached fever pitch. The elders recalled ancient prophecies that warned of consequences when the divine and mortal intertwined. Whispers twined around Yilmiah, sending a shiver through her soul, for she felt a tether to something grander amid the tumult. Little did she know she was chosen, an essential thread in a heavenly tapestry mirroring God's covenant with His creation. As the sun dipped below the mountains, the atmosphere thickened with spiritual tension. The villagers began to recognize the shifting forces at play, their hearts heavy with a foreboding sense that these unions, celebrated with jubilation, would soon yield trials that tested resilience and faith. Each miraculous wife, a divine selection, held within her the potential to birth champions destined to birth forth a legacy of hope. Day by day, their prayers ascended like fragrant incense, invoking the Spirit for guidance amidst encroaching shadows. Before we continue with this incredible biblical account, I want to make sure you don't miss any of these powerful scripture stories. Click the bell icon and select all notifications. These biblical narratives have transformed countless lives throughout history. If God's word through this story is blessing you, please like and share with someone who needs to hear about God's faithfulness today. Tell me in the comments which biblical story has most impacted your faith journey. I'm always amazed how God's word speaks to hearts across generations. Now let's continue with what the Lord did next. As darkness enveloped the land, divine intervention manifested with blinding brilliance, an unmistakable sign from heaven. The atmosphere trembled as the miraculous births commenced, heralding not merely the continuation of ancient giants, but a renewed promise for God's chosen people. The echoes of redemption resonated throughout Bashan, igniting hopes long extinguished, unity reigning amidst adversity, as the complex relationships between the cosmic and earthly realms shifted. With the dawn's first light, Yilmiah stood poised at the edge of the village, her gaze transfixed upon the horizon where mountains kissed the sky. Every fiber of her being cried out for purpose, yearning to comprehend her role in this unfolding narrative. What part would she play in the great mystery of God's sovereign plan? The winds sang with promises uncharted, stirring within her an unquenchable desire to uncover the depths of faith and the Savior destined to defeat darkness. In the distance, the faintest whisper beckoned her. This was only the beginning, the cherished spark of a story yet to unfurl. In the stillness of dawn, as light spilled over the peaks like molten gold, Yilmiah felt an indescribable stirring in her heart. The chaos of the night melted away, and she stepped forward, clutching the sacred herbs that had long been her solace. Each leaf and petal was a testament to the Creator's wisdom, a blend of healing and hope designed for such a time as this. The village stirred awake, but Yilmiah sensed an urgency in her spirit, as if the earth itself held its breath. Just beyond the village, the towering oaks whispered secrets only the divine could unveil. With fervent prayer, she sought the understanding to navigate the profound changes washing over their lives. Would she be an instrument of God's will, or merely a bystander in this looming tale of giants and miracles? Meanwhile, far beyond the mountains, a shadow loomed large, stirred by the very births that echoed with divine purpose. The descendants of the giants, those ancient warriors, gathered in the valleys, their hearts ignited with the traffic of intermingled bloodlines and prophetic dreams. They spoke of dominion and conquest, little knowing they were but pawns in a greater scheme, orchestrated by the Almighty. Amongst them, a commander named Og, strong and fierce, resolved to seize the power granted to him through his heritage. His pride blinded him to the plight of the chosen ones, but the word of the Lord did not return void. A prophecy whispered through generations spoke of a reckoning, a clash between the heirs of promise and those who walked in darkness. Would Og's ambition steer his path toward inevitable destruction? As Yelmia wandered her village, she paused by a gathering of women, each bearing their own divine destiny. There was Hagar, fiercely loyal yet pregnant with doubt, Asherah, filled with wisdom but marked by sorrow, and Zillah, brimming with dreams of a future entwined with glory. Together they formed a sisterhood, their fate braided within the sovereign will of God Almighty. They were more than mere wives. They held the keys to generations yet unborn, a legacy intertwined with resilience, faith, and the power of prayer. Yet, amidst this gathering, Yelmia felt an electric shimmer like a distant star tugging at her heart. "What are we to do?" she interjected, breaking the silence that weighed heavy upon them. "The kings of old rise in darkness, and yet we bear light within us. Is it not our calling to combat the shadows that seek to engulf our world?" The women murmured amongst themselves, hearts igniting with the realization of their shared mission. Courage strengthened their resolve as they began to dream of their future children, champions who would stand boldly against the giants, a divine fortification cradled in the bosom of prayer and promise. Yet, unbeknownst to them, threats brewed and whispered warnings flitted through the air. The very heavens shifted as divine intervention awaited fulfillment in the form of a child destined to change the course of history. Who among them would bear this promise, and what tribulations would follow in its wake? As the sun ascended toward its zenith, the earth reverberated with a holy expectancy. The keys to the kingdom were being placed into the hands of ordinary women, each a thread in the fabric of fate, woven by the hand of God. They must stand united against the evils that threatened their lineage and legacy. And as Yelmia raised her gaze to the horizon, she sensed the winds changing, a portent beckoning her and her sisters toward the unknown. "The time has come for God's promise to speak," she whispered, anticipation swelling within her soul as she felt divine truths unfurl like pages of an ancient scroll. What miracles awaited them just beyond the veil of uncertainty? The saga was not yet written. It held a mystery that called out for their faith to be made manifest. For the giants were not merely foes, but heralds of a divine orchestration too vast for human eyes to behold. As the sun reached its lofty height, casting vibrant rays upon the village, Yelmia felt the weight of destiny pressing upon her heart. "Let us gather the children," she urged the women, "for not only our lives hang in the balance, but also the destinies of our sons and daughters. They are to be the bearers of promises, the revival of hope in a world shadowed by giants." Hagar, her brow furrowed with the conflict of faith and fear, replied, "Will they not be marked by the burdens we carry? Can they withstand the tempest that looms before us?" Her voice trembled with uncertainty, yet a flicker of resolve danced in her eyes. "Yes," Asherah interjected, fierce and wise, "for the covenant of our God is a light, a refuge against the assaults of darkness. Did he not lead our forefathers through the Red Sea, unveiling his power amidst the waters? Are we not the heirs of that very promise?" They formed a circle, hands clasped together, each pulse of faith resonating like a drumbeat. "Lord of hosts," they prayed, their voices entrusting each word to the heavens. "Reveal thy will. Strengthen our hearts for the battles to come, and let your purposes unfold." Meanwhile, Og, mighty in stature and devoured by ambition, sat at the foot of the towering mountain, consulting with his war council. "We are descendants of giants, born of strength and valor. These fools believe they possess the light, but shadows are only dispelled by the mightier," he declared. "Gather all men of valor. We will march upon the village and claim what we are owed." Their laughter echoed in the valley, dark and foreboding. Yet little did they know, God's hand was even then interweaving their fates with those of his chosen. For while Og plotted, the women continued their prayer, casting seeds of faith into the hearts of the generations to come. "Let us prepare," Yomiya urged, breaking from their circle. "For the heavens speak of courage, and our children will learn to wield the faith their mothers embody. In prayer, we reap the strength to nurture future champions." As a gentle wind whispered through the trees, a butterfly flitted above them, its wings fluttering like the echoes of God's promises. Each woman, sensing the stirring presence of the Spirit, knew that within them was the power to stand against the tide. In them lay the potential to unearth the miracle to come, a child who would bring forth the manifestation of God's glory. Battles, however, tell tales of both despair and triumph. In the shadows of impending conflict, the village prepared itself, as mothers wove garments and the scent of fragrant herbs filled their homes with hope. A deep understanding dawned within Yomiya. "This life is not merely for us," she declared, her voice resounding with strength. "Every sacrifice, every prayer is a brick in the foundation of the kingdom that is to come." As she spoke, an unearthly glow illuminated her sisters, reminiscent of the light that suspended the Israelites in the wilderness. It was a reminder of God's continual presence with his people, urging them to trust in his unfailing purpose. And so, the day waned into twilight, the shadows lengthening across the land. Yet within the village, radiant faith blossomed. Yomiya stood upon the knoll, overlooking the fields, her heart aligned with the divine. "We shall be the mothers of warriors, not just mourners of fate," she proclaimed. Yet, further away in the valley, Og's ominous laughter echoed, calling forth an army of giants sworn to fulfill his relentless ambition. The clash of destiny brewed like storm clouds gathering over the horizon. In their fervent prayers and stirring visions, the women felt the weight of what was to come. Little did they realize that their unity in faith was summoned to counter the very tide of destruction crafted by Og. Each heartbeat harmonized with God's sovereign plan, yet deeper mysteries awaited by the fringes of their hope. For this was only the beginning. In the folds of uncertainty lay the promise of a new era beckoning to be birthed, a divine truth waiting to shatter the chains of darkness. It was certain. The time had come for God's promise to fulfill itself, and the heavens themselves conspired with whispers only those of faith could perceive. What emboldened victories would rise from the hearts of mothers? What divine resolutions lay in waiting just beyond their grasp? As twilight deepened, the heavens painted a canvas of amber and violet, casting a sacred glow over the village. The wind shifted, carrying with it a portent of what was to be, the clash of faith against fear. Yomiya watched as the last rays of sunlight receded, her heart a tempest of emotion, balancing hope and dread. "Gather, my sisters," she called, her heart aflame with purpose. "Tonight, let us recount the stories of our ancestors. Let us recount the wonders he has done among us." The women, emboldened by her words, joined her in the circle under the ancient olive tree, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames of torches, each spark a tribute to their collective faith. As they began to share, a spirit of unity enveloped them. Hagar, the once timid soul, rose with newfound fire. "Remember the days of our deliverance, when the Egyptians pursued us and the sea before us stood as a barrier. Did our God not part the waters? Did he not reveal his glory in our salvation? Her voice swelled like the waves that had obeyed his command, and the women murmured in agreement, their hearts stirring to life. From the shadows of distant hills, Og and his cadre of giants prepared for their impending assault. They drank deep from the well of arrogance, forgetting the God of the humble. Og raised his sword, its blade gleaming ominously in the moonlight. Tonight, we seize what is rightfully ours. No puny faith shall stand against might. We are giants, and all will bow before us. Yet as darkness fell, the women in the village clung to their memories, invoking the stories that fortified their spirits with divine courage. Asherah recalled the manna from heaven, remembering the divine provision even in the wilderness. The Lord is our sustainer. As our ancestors were nourished, so shall we be. We shall not waver, for our trust is in the one who feeds our souls. The circle grew tighter, resolute in their faith, the communal prayers forming a shield against the onslaught. Yilmia then raised her voice above the rising winds. Let us now beseech the heavens for strength. Lord of hosts, yield your heart unto us. We stand as one and we are unyielding, seeking your will and calling upon your might. The air crackled and an unseen presence settled among them, soothing their fears while igniting their spirits. They felt an overwhelming assurance that their cries had not gone unheard. Then from the dark, a sudden silence fell over the land. Og and his warriors paused, sensing a shift in the atmosphere, a weighty conviction they could not comprehend. Og's confidence began to wane, uncertainty creeping into his heart like a shadow. Tonight, we either crush these fools or we perish, he growled, yet the words felt hollow as a chill enveloped him. As if in answer to his struggle, a deep rumble echoed through the mountains. A voice never heard, yet known, and the air trembled. As the women pressed on in prayer, feeling the very fabric of the heavens shift, they suddenly began to envision a child, a leader to arise from their midst.
The giants. Each vision was accompanied by a divine whisper. From your faith, a warrior shall come. Fear not, for the battle belongs to the Lord. In that moment of divine revelation, Yilmia's gaze sharpened, her spirit captivated by the promise unfolding. Could it be, she thought, her heart racing, a child of destiny will rise amidst us? For in that sacred moment, as the breath of heaven ushered forth their prayers, a new dawn awaited. The women felt hope spill over like an overflowing cup, their trust transforming into an indomitable rooting of faith. They had already begun to weave the tapestry of God's miraculous plan amid the impending storm. The clash between the power of God and the arrogance of giants loomed ever closer. The stage was set for an encounter that would reverberate through generations. What new truths would emerge from the threads of their faith woven together? How would the Lord unveil his glorious purposes from the place of their fervent prayers? The battle was no longer theirs. It belonged to the Almighty. The heart of the village beat in rhythm with the divine orchestration, and so the night encased them in prayer, awaiting the revelation of God's sovereign will. For in the quiet tension of the moment, a promise awaited fulfillment, the birth of a destiny ordained long before, hidden within the womb of his people yearning for deliverance. As dawn's first light began to pierce the remnants of night, a transformative stillness enveloped the village. Yilmia and the women, still gathered beneath the ancient olive tree, felt the electrical charge of anticipation in the air. Each heartbeat synced with the promise of what was to come, their eyes wide with a watchful faith. The spirit of reverence ignited within them as they recalled the stories shared through the night. Hagar spoke softly. He shows us his strength through our weakness. The Lord is a refuge for the oppressed, a stronghold in times of trouble. Psalm 9:9. We are but humble women, yet in our vulnerability, his glory shall be revealed. As her words hung in the air, the ground beneath them began to tremble softly, heralding the movement of Og and his giants as they approached the village. The very earth seemed to quiver with their footsteps, a shadow of fear creeping upon the hearts of the women. Yilmia, however, rose with renewed determination. "Do not succumb to fear, for our God is greater than the might of these giants. Let our faith be our strength. We are not alone. The Lord of hosts fights for us." She spoke with fervor, her voice resonating with the conviction of Moses as he said, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Exodus 14:14. Suddenly, a fierce wind surged forth, carrying with it whispers of heavenly promises, as the women joined in fervent prayer once more. Their voices rose in unison, chanting, "We will trust in the Lord, our refuge. Our faith is our shield." Each declaration fortified their spirits,
transforming dread into resolute strength. Meanwhile, Og, now advancing towards the village, exuded a confidence that belied the unease creeping into his soul. He turned to his warriors, brandishing his sword. "Let the earth tremble before us. They shall know our power and bow low before our might." Yet, as the echoes of his challenge faded, a foreboding silence enveloped him. "Is this the challenge of mere mortals?" Og mused aloud, his voice trembling. An unsettling thought flickered at the edge of his consciousness. Had he underestimated these villagers? The wind carries their whispers. What power do they possess? A shiver coursed through him as he felt the weighty presence of the Almighty. Back in the village, amidst the rising faith, Yilmia turned her gaze upwards to the heavens. A vision unfolded before her. A dazzling light breaking through the clouds, illuminating the faces of her sisters. "Look, the dawn of victory is upon us. We are not fighting against flesh and blood, but against the powers in the heavenly realms." Ephesians 6:12. With newfound resolve, the women began to assemble the remnants of their collective faith into a tangible stance. They fetched stones, well worn by the hands of their ancestors who had once tasted victory through the hands of the Almighty. "Let us create an altar of remembrance," Yilmia declared. "Let the stones testify to the faith we share. His faithfulness shall echo through these very stones." As the last stone was placed, an electric stillness settled over the gathering, and the wind stilled as if the very universe awaited the next breath. Each woman was filled with the palpable presence of God. They felt a life-giving force surge within them, uniting them in purpose. In that charged moment, a figure began to emerge from the shadows. It was a child, no more than tender in years, yet holding a slingshot in hand with a face lit by the fierce glow of determination. He stepped forward, seemingly unaware of the giants or the looming battle, unfazed by the swirling chaos that enveloped them. But what Yilmia could not yet fathom was that this child, destined to defy the odds, would soon emerge as the warrior so boldly promised to her. The air shimmered with divine purpose, revealing only the shadow of a greater unfolding. Indeed, even now, the pillars of destiny were shifting, and as the giants drew nigh, the heart of God began to orchestrate a glorious confrontation. For unbeknownst to the villagers, the moment of divine showdown was upon them, and the covenant promise of victory loomed on the horizon, awaiting its time to break forth in revelation. How would God's mighty plan unfold against the clamor of the battle? What truths would be unveiled as the line was drawn between faith and fear? The narrative of salvation was about to take a turn, revealing the stunning layers of his sovereign will. As the child stepped forward, Yilmia perceived an otherworldly light enveloping him, a divine calling rippling through the air like the sound of trumpets. A hush blanketed the gathered women, and their hearts quickened in a symphony of faith. "Who is this young warrior?" they whispered, eyes transfixed upon the child, who stood resolute, unyielding against the encroaching shadows of Og and his giants. "Behold, sisters, this boy, though small in stature, carries the might of the Most High God within him," Hagar exclaimed, as her heart swelled with unspeakable hope. She sensed that this child was chosen by God for a purpose beyond what they could imagine. The winds began to whip around the gathered women once more, catching their garments as if the very heavens had come alive with anticipation. Og's voice again cut through the tension, an echo of arrogance challenging the spirit of the moment. "Come forth, let the child step into the arena of destiny. I will show you what it means to face the giants of this world." His laughter was thunderous, yet laced with an undercurrent of concern, for he still felt the stirring of divine presence coursing through the atmosphere. Yet the child stood firm, a beam of unyielding faith amid tempestuous chaos. "You speak of giants, O Og, but you know not the true stature of the Lord our God." His voice rang with the clarity of a bell, as all eyes fell upon him, a shift unparalleled cascading through the village. The women grasped one another's hands, their hearts beating as one, propelled by the power of unified prayer. "Our God is a warrior. He is the one who has delivered us time and again. In him we find our strength," Yomia declared, emboldened by the sight of this chosen one and the foundation they had laid in faith. In the depths of Og's heart, a flicker of doubt ignited. What if this child was indeed an instrument of God's will? What if the faith of these humble women was not to be underestimated? But pride clawed at Og's resolve. "Come, what will you do against my fiercest warriors?" he challenged, a sneer on his lips as he pointed toward his men, who stood like mountains of flesh and armor. "In faith, I will remain steadfast," the child replied, brandishing his slingshot, a seemingly trivial weapon in the face of overwhelming odds. Yet, the energy surrounding him pulsed with undeniable strength, charged with the prayers of the women who stood by his side. "For our battle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." Ephesians 6:12. He raised his eyes towards the heavens, as if seeking confirmation, and a luminous cloud surrounded him, radiating divine glory. The women gasped, feeling their spirits alight with renewed power as they witnessed this celestial affirmation. Suddenly, a magnificent roar erupted from the sky, a sound unlike any earthbound voice, reverberating throughout the valley. The earth trembled, and the giants faltered, glancing about in newfound trepidation. The heavens articulated a truth, etched long ago: "Those who are with us are more than those who are with them." 2 Kings 6:16. In that fleeting moment, the atmosphere brimmed with divine tension, each heartbeat laden with prophetic promise. Yomia pressed her hand to her heart, recognizing that the winds of change were not just around them, but coursing through them as well. They had become the instruments of divine redemption, no longer the oppressed, but the empowered, unified under the banner of an unseen force greater than Og and his minions. The giants, whether in body or spirit, were as grasshoppers in the sight of the Almighty, who had chosen to fight their battles in the face of towering adversity. But what awaited them in the imminent clash? How would the glorious confrontation unfold? The fabric of destiny was about to be woven into a tapestry of miraculous grace, drawing them into the very heart of God's sovereign plan, revealing truths that would echo through generations yet to come. A divine showdown loomed, painting the vast canvas of faith and fear with strokes of unwavering hope. As the child stood there, emboldened by the Spirit of the Lord, silence enveloped the valley, as if the very earth awaited the outcome of this sacred clash. A sense of urgency brewed in the hearts of the gathered women, their knuckles whitening as they held tightly to one another, grounded in their collective faith. Suddenly, Og strode forward, his thunderous voice breaking the silence like a clap of lightning. "Your God has abandoned you," he bellowed, feigning confidence as he attempted to unsettle the children of Israel. "Look at the strength of my army. Can your prayers shield you from their might?" But the child, who had been granted vision beyond what the eyes could see, responded with a fervor that astonished even the strong. "No weapon forged against us shall prosper, for we stand on the promises of our God. It is not by might nor by power, but by his Spirit that we shall have victory." Zechariah 4:6. The winds of heaven shifted again, carrying whispers of divine truth that stirred the very fabric of creation. Yomia felt the correction in her heart resonate with the promises God had spoken to her people. The same God who had parted the Red Sea stood ready to intervene. "Oh, how we have labored in vain, but behold, our God shall not be silent," she declared, raising her voice as her faith swelled like a tidal wave against the shores of doubt. With each moment, the tension intensified. Og's mask of arrogance began to falter as he surveyed the anticipation in the eyes of the women, whom he had underestimated. The very air around them flickered with divine energy, charged with the fervent prayers of the faithful, growing louder and more insistent, echoing the words from Psalms. "They shall know that I am the Lord, for I shall not be ashamed." Psalm 37:9. Then a voice spoke from the luminous cloud that enveloped the child, clear and resounding. "Fear not, for I have not forsaken you. Stand firm and see the salvation of the Lord, for the battle is mine," it proclaimed, shaking the hearts of Og's warriors with dread. They staggered back, a wave of fear washing over them, as they felt the weight of a presence far greater than their combined strength. The child, emboldened by this divine proclamation, stepped forward, slingshot held aloft, as if wielding an instrument of divine power. "You are but shadows, Og, and my faith shall bring forth light. In you I see not a rival, but a reminder of what happens when one stands in the way of God's appointed purpose." Before Og could respond, a resounding shaking shook the ground, and the women found their voices in a unified chant. "Our God reigns! Our God is with us!" As they lifted their hands in prayer, the very atmosphere crackled with electric anticipation, weaving a tapestry of prayer that ascended to the very gates of heaven. The giants, sensing the shift in spiritual warfare, looked upon their leader with uncertainty, their confidence wavering under the might of the child's righteous presence. How could this child evoke such power? In that suspended moment, the child raised the slingshot, orienting it toward the center of heart. He spoke a single word, igniting sacred conviction within the crowd. "Victory!" With that, the prophecy echoed through the heavens, mingling with the prayers of the gathered women. "For the Lord your God will go before you. He will fight for you against your enemies." Deuteronomy 1:30. As the child prepared to unleash the mighty blow, a great stillness settled over the valley, pregnant with anticipation. What awaited them beyond this confrontation? What hidden truths would emerge from the clash between faith and fear? In the looming shadows, the tapestry of God's sovereign plan began to unravel, revealing the depth of His mercy and the expanse of His love. A revelation soon to manifest in ways both wondrous and surprising. The child stood resolute, the weight of destiny pressing upon their small shoulders, for the moment of confrontation had arrived. With slingshot poised and faith ignited, they drew the breath of heaven, summoning strength not of this world. The valley, cloaked in sacred stillness, held its breath. Even the stones beneath seemed to tremble in anticipation of what was to unfold. Og, sensing the tempest of divine power gathering, raised his arms to rally his warriors. "Foolish child," he mocked, his voice echoing like thunder against the mountains. "You throw your stones against an army that knows not fear. Your faith is as a flickering candle before the storm. Yet, the gathering of women, emboldened by the child's declaration, raised their voices higher, chanting in unison, "Our God reigns! Our God is mightier than all!" Their cries ascended as a sweet aroma before the Lord, piercing through the veil of earthly hostilities. The child, undeterred by Og's banter, replied in courage, "It is not I who stand against you, Og, but the arm of the Almighty. For the God of Israel has heard our cry and does not forsake his own." In that moment, light shined forth from the child, illuminating the encroaching shadows, a mere reflection of the divine radiance illuminating their path. Suddenly, without warning, the skies darkened as clouds roared across the horizon, their arrival heralded by the swift call of thunder. The earth shook once more, this time with the very heartbeat of creation, declaring a divine charge to the battlefront. With fervent anticipation, the women's prayers swirled in the air, painting the heavens with their unyielding faith. Then, the voice of the Lord rang forth from the luminous cloud, reverberating deep within their souls. "Fear not, for as I was with Moses, so I am with you. I shall turn the hearts of the giants to stone." The words stirred the ground beneath Og's feet, and he staggered as fear began to take hold, whispering into his very essence. With faith unwavering, the child released the slingshot, and in that sacred moment, time itself seemed to pause. The stone, propelled by divine precision, sailed through the air as a comet of righteousness, aimed straight towards Og. As it struck true, a surge of power emanated from the impact, shaking the very foundations of the valley. Og fell to the ground, the roar of his warriors fading into a haunting silence. The other giants, gripped by terror, turned their backs to flee, unable to withstand the weight of God's glory revealed through the faith of a child. The air filled with electric anticipation as the women rushed forward, shouting praises unto the Lord. "He has delivered us. He has shown his wonders among the nations," they proclaimed, their voices echoing through the hills like a triumphant choir. Yet in the wake of victory, an unexpected hush descended as the child stood amidst the aftermath. Questions lingered heavy in the air, unanswered whispers that plumbed the depths of their souls. Who were the wives of the giants, and what role would they play in God's eternal plan? In that moment, a flicker of understanding illuminated the horizon, hinting at greater truths waiting to be unveiled. What had begun as a confrontation against earthly might was merely a chapter in the unfolding tapestry of God's redemptive story. And thus, a new mystery beckoned, a divine revelation soon to be unveiled regarding the 7 miraculous wives of the giants and their part in the grand design of the Lord's covenant promise. As the echoes of victory faded into the hills, a solemn stillness enveloped the child. Glancing around, they beheld the remnants of the battle, the fallen giants sprawled at their feet as a potent reminder of the power of faith. Yet, amidst the triumphs, there lingered a solemnity, for the air was thick with unspoken questions. The women encircled the child, their faces radiant with praise, but marred by curiosity. "Who shall speak for the wives of Og?" one among them cried, her voice a tremor of inquiry in the sacred stillness. What of the souls intertwined with giants, enmeshed in the age-old struggle between light and darkness? Undaunted, the child, whose heart pulsed with the presence of the Almighty, raised their gaze toward the heavens. The clouds began to disperse, revealing a piercing light cascading down, as if the firmament itself was suffused with divine revelation. Let us not forget that the Lord sees not as man sees. He regards the heart, the intent, and the hidden things, just as he did with Rahab the harlot, whose faith delivered her from the fall of Jericho, they declared, their voice steady. The gathered women listened intently, for they understood the weight of the child's words. In the valley of shadows, even those considered outside the covenant could find grace, and this truth bore the fingerprints of God's mercy. With newfound fervor, the women began to sing, "His mercy endures forever, His love knows no bounds." And just as their voices rose, the earth trembled once again, this time not in fear but in reverence. The ground quaked gently, reverberating with an otherworldly strength. And from afar, they saw figures approaching, 7 in number, veiled in mystery, yet radiant with grace. The atmosphere thickened, charged with the sanctity of unfolding providence. "Who are these?" murmured a woman, eyes wide as she pointed toward the approaching figures adorned in flowing garments, illuminated by an unseen light. The heart of each observer thudded as they witnessed the presence of the forgotten, the wives of the fallen giants. As they drew near, one of the wives stepped forward, her voice a soothing balm amidst the tension. "Fear not, daughters of Israel. We come not to bring terror, but to unveil the tapestry woven through bloodlines of mercy amidst judgment. For we were entangled in shadow, yet the hand of the Most High reached forth." The child felt a jolt of divine understanding coursing through them. This was no mere introduction, it was a revelation, an invitation to witness God's relentless pursuit of redemption, even in the most unlikely vessels. "What is your purpose here?" the child asked, emboldened by the spirit of inquiry. The lead wife opened her arms wide. "We are not without inheritance, for God had a purpose for us even in the darkness of our unions. Through us, the living God will bring forth a remnant, a lineage resilient in faith, destined to rise against the backdrop of despair." The women gasped, comprehension dawning upon them as they began to grasp the weight of this proclamation. God's sovereignty would weave even these lives into the greater narrative of His plan for His people. Thus, as the sun dipped low, casting golden light upon the faces of the united, profound purpose echoed in the air, urging all gathered to realize how deeply the threads of the divine were entwined. In this holy convergence, what had been seen as merely casualties of giants' pride now stood as a testament to God's unfathomable grace. The child, overwhelmed with awe, realized the truth whispered through the ages. Indeed, what was meant for destruction may yet reveal divine purpose, for the plans of the Lord shall not be thwarted. The unfolding mystery stretched forth, urging the community to see beyond themselves as they contemplated the full scope of God's covenant love. In that sacred moment, hope surged through their hearts. What would the coming days unfold for these miraculous women? As they gathered in prayer, their spirits intertwined in anticipation, ready to witness further the nature of God's sovereign plan. And the unfolding story of family and faith that loomed ahead was bound to change the course of history. As the sun sank low on the horizon, casting long shadows across the village of Bashan, the hearts of Yilmiah and the women throbbed with the fullness of divine promise. Before them stood the 7 miraculous wives of the giants, arrayed in radiant humility, their presence awakening the very dawn of hope. In that moment, all that was hidden was laid bare, for they were not mere footnotes in a tale of darkness. Rather, they were pivotal players in the unfolding narrative of God's relentless love. The leader of the wives spoke, her voice woven with wisdom and grace. "We are the mothers of legacies intertwined. What was meant for our destruction has been sculpted into a testament of redemption. Through our wombs, a remnant shall rise, one bathed in the light of truth, destined to bridge the chasm between humiliation and glory." Awed by her words, the gathered women held their breath. Yilmiah, drawing close, asked, "Will our children truly be the champions against the giants that walk among us? What shall become of our sons and daughters who bear within them both the courage and the burdens of the past?" The lead wife smiled gently. "Fear not, for God's design encompasses all. Each child born shall carry forth the bloodlines marked by both humility and strength. As you have prayed, so shall your prayers bloom into sowings of righteousness. Encouragement stirred the hearts of Yilmiyah and her sisters as they grasped this truth. The struggles they faced were not in vain. The tension of their faith, now entwined with the wives' resilience, transcended their limited understanding, unveiling the hidden layers of God's redemptive narrative. With hearts ignited, Yilmiyah spoke with a newfound authority. Then let us prepare for the dawn of this new beginning. We shall nurture our children in the way of the Lord. Let our sacrifices yield a harvest of courage, and our prayers rise as incense before the heavens. The women cried in unison, "In faith we shall rise. Our children shall carry forth the mantle of divine promise." All the while in the distance, Og's remnants, shattered by fear, scattered across the land, defeated not by mere stones, but by the faith binding these women, whose hearts now beat as one. As the last vestiges of challenge fled, the weight of divine purpose filled the air, and the village erupted in praise. For day and night they shared.